Hello, everybody. So we're discussing quite a few subjects tonight. Lots have been going on since my last video. So welcome to my channel. I'm Carola. I'm a soul mender. That's my business. I do unhooking, even unhooking spells. Hang on. I need some room to do the readings. So beautiful. So I love reading tarot cards. I'm designing my own oracle decks, and I use some of the cards, and I'll show some tonight as well. I'm going to do some Pleiadean messages as well, so I might do that first, and then I want to go into is our Earth. A lot of people talk about that it's flat. Is it an arc? Is it floating in space? Is it bigger than it is? Is there hidden places that we don't know about and other people living there? So we're going to go into all that. So sometimes I watch some documentaries and they tell you lots of different kind of things, which is quite amazing. There's so many beautiful people doing so much beautiful work out there. And I find it really, really heartwarming that there's so many people just investigating everything. I go, and it makes you watch things that you would have never watched. Like I love history, always have. I believe our tarot books. There's a lot of tarot books out there. They actually explain a lot of history, got a lot of history in them. So I find it quite interesting. So it's quite lovely. So I'm going to go into a Pleiadean reading first. Okay, so I'm going to use the magical dimensions, and then I'm going to use some of my own cards which I've drawn. So behind me you can see a lot of pictures, like up there. I actually drew them. So they're quite beautiful. I love the work that I do, and I love that I can do the artwork and draw. I channel the energy, and I believe in one of my past lives. I've had many past lives, like many of us. I believe in one of my past lives, I was a healer on the planet, one of the planets of the Pleiadean, where there's a lot of healing done. As you know, there's quite a few planets, and we call it the Seven Sisters. I also believe that I was, in one of my lifetimes, I was a shaman's daughter who, when the cavalry rode through, they actually put a sword in my head. I used to have a lot of headaches once, and then I saw a shaman and we did some work on it. It was quite incredible to learn all that. And I also believe that because I like magic and magical things, and Merlin, I love Merlin. Behind me, you can see that beautiful statue of Merlin and the dragon there. It's quite interesting. I actually have a lot of Merlin books, Merlin tarot cards and things like that. I used to do sword fighting when I was younger. So yes, definitely connected to that part. It's quite interesting. So there's a little bit about myself. I like sharing sometimes things, and they're appropriate, and memories that you have of your past lives. And I've had past lives on other planets. I definitely know that. So we're all here visiting Earth, and that's what we're here for, doing experiments, changing the frequency. Everything's about frequency. Like I work with tuning forks, singing bowls, gongs, chakra balancing. They all got frequencies on them. So it's quite interesting. So to me, working with frequency is very important. I actually work a lot raising the frequency as well within me. I think that is very important as well. So now I'm going to ask is, with everything that's playing out on in this world, Earth, the energy and everything, what do the Pleiadians and Star Being want us to know right at this moment. Let's have a look. So there's something coming up with a root chakra. So there has to be a really big energy shift. So this is the root chakra, okay? And it's red. I actually like red, blues and stuff like that. But anyway, so it's on the card, it says vitality, stability, the survival, and the fearful. So to me, when we get cards like that, I think there's so much fear still going on on our planet in a moment, and I think we really have to rebalance that. And in a moment, it's all about balance anyway. So we need to step out of the fear. A lot of people are still in fear. And then we have the beautiful, the guardians, so shielding, defense, and warning. So there's a lot of warning coming to Earth, shielding and basically looking after. So there's a lot of help, but we also have to be awake. We also have to understand that if we don't step out of the fear, that we can't move forward. So the guardians are here, okay? They're watching. Just so you know, is when we're talking about star beings, outer world, when I work with them and need something done, I will actually ask, and I will take the guidance, and I will ask for help. Because then here in humanity, if we can't do something alone, is we actually need help. And the only way to get the help is by asking, okay? So sometimes I do ask for things because there's been a lot of things that haven't been very nice here in Australia. So I ask for help. And then I do run a meditation group where we as a group ask for help as well. So it's quite interesting. There's an old saying, if you don't ask, you don't get. So, and and they did come and help. So I'm really grateful. I won't go into the subject of what happened, but it was very deep. Okay. So our next thing is challenges, blocks, fears, negativity, betrayal. So there's still a lot of this energy on Earth. And a lot of it sometimes even comes from people around us, okay? We know that there's a lot of corruption out there, and we know there's a lot of morons running certain things. I have no I don't want to give them any credit because I don't think they deserve it. I think that we as a human race can see that for what it is, and I think it is changing. And I think that the more we do to honor ourselves, and see, it's up to us. If something doesn't feel right, how do we take the balance back of basically not allowing them to run amok? How did we come to this where we have where they're trying to even take more freedom away, where they're trying to take everything basically literally, and it looks really like that you have no words for it. Can this actually be any other way? Like, is this go, what the, I don't know, I don't have words for it, so I don't know. Anyway, so the challenges are there. The Pleiadians are showing us that, the star beings, okay? And then we're going to go into the dragon attachment. So let go of all your attachments. Here's a dragon energy. And the dragons are beautiful animals to work with. And something happened the other night as I was with one on our meditation. We actually yin and yang the dragons back together. It's something that happened from a past life with me and someone else that had a past life together. And the work on it that we did, it was so amazing. and seeing the yin and yang come back in the balance, that's what was needed. And the past life was such a deep past life, and it was incredible. So don't believe there's no dragons out there or other animals just because you got told they've been extinct. Believe me, they are still around. Okay. The next thing we actually need to do, the Pleiadians are saying, is go back into your trust in yourself. And if it sounds so unrealistic, please go back into your truth. Okay. And it's a beautiful message. Yeah. I find that and calming. And then we got this beautiful wolf, isolation, loneliness, and we need to come and step out of our isolation and loneliness because there's so many people feeling lonely and isolated. So it's time to step out of it. Start grouping up into make communities again. Make like meet garden communities, start growing things. Just get out there and make that effort. Don't be afraid. Step away from the fear. We're human beings. We need each other. So make new friends. And then this is a really spiritual galactic card. So the Galactic Federation is with us as well. They're watching, okay? There's many spaceships in the moment. And this is a big awakening card. It's preparing and ascension and relocation, okay? So in my readings, usually in tarot cards, I believe still that there's quite a few humans still going to leave this earth plane, unfortunately, okay? And it's really sad, but it's also necessary. And then we got our solar. So yellows are very important. The central sun is very important. Really tune into it. And so there's lots going on in the dimensional world. So we are very, very lucky because we are a soul doing a human experience. We're only here for a short time, and it's a really learning. But we also have to learn that when the world is unbalanced, that it needs to come back into balance. So I think that's a really important thing to do. So I suggest that everyone that wants to do. So we're going to do shadow work in a moment and what it means. And I've got different decks to show you so you learn that how we do work on ourselves and evolve so we can have an experience, not to stay in the victim as on this earth in the experience, and to look at it as a lesson and then understanding the lesson, which is quite reasonable. It's quite loving, and it's all to do with self-worth, self-love, courage, trust, surrendering, understanding who you are, where you want to go to, but also understanding that not everything is a karmic lesson. Some things are just here on earth happening to you because you're a human being, if that makes sense, right? So not everything that's a disaster or you think, oh my God, is that a karmic lesson? It's something when it's a karmic lesson because it's a very, very deep and it won't go away until you clear it, basically. And same with when you do shadow work. To me, shadow work is balancing your energy. It's balancing who you are. We can fall sometimes really deep and darkness emotionally. And then how we pull out of it is when we're doing shadow work, when we're coming back and seeing a light at the end of the tunnel or a light. So I've got a few different kind of cards here. So this is called the archetype and the shadow, okay? I will show you afterwards. There's also a deck by Carola, the archetype cards, okay? Then we have, this is two tarot decks. So there's two. This is tarot deck by John Matthew and Andrea Esty. So these have actually got two decks in it. One's light and one's dark, basically. So they're two different colors. So when you do a reading, you can do what your shadow is, and then you ask for what the light is. So one's blue and one's that color. Okay, it's quite interesting. And I guess it's like when you work with in tarot, sometimes you got a card that's reversed. It's like that basically. Okay, then I also use the mirror for the truth. They're like a Leonardo deck. My favorite is the dark mirror and the dreamscape. These are my favorite decks I work with when I do shadow work. So we're going to use them first, and then we also have the archetype, and these are quite beautiful cards. So they have a really beautiful handbook, okay, and they're also round. So they basically look like that. So I leave them out so we can use them. Let's put table's getting a bit small, even though it's a big table. And we also got in my deck that I do is I actually have rebirthing. See how this works. So basically here we have a vortex with energy coming out. So the rebirthing energy, and it's allowing all the black shadow come out. So you're rebirthing yourself, you're rebirthing your energy. So that's that beautiful card, and it has light language on it, and it's quite beautiful. So there you go. And that's coming into my oracle deck. I have a look if there's any. So this is a tunnel card. This is when we are ready to move to the other side. We go through a tunnel, and then we have someone waiting for us. There's the love. So when we pass over, we have our own soul group, cluster group. It's not always with everybody that you spend time on here that you're going to do an experience with. And this is my time traveling card. And yes, it looks a bit like Doctor Who's box, but you can time travel like that through lifts. You can time travel through vortexes. Depends how much how much knowledge you actually have. I draw a lot of vortexes and stargates, so that's what I do. So there's always vortexes and stargates in most of my drawings, because we open all the vortexes and stargates. And this is a very family orientated, like when we meet as soul groups, we sort of entwine into the energy of oneness. This is actually a financial card. It has gold in it, money, sort of money. They don't really use money in the galaxy. It's more like bartering over there. It's a different system, okay? So it's more on Earth that we use money, that use different stuff. So if that makes sense. So with the pyramids, this is all about balancing. So, and yeah, and this is very earthly, like this is rebirthing our earth energy. Very ancient energy. And this is actually opening this. It's a stargate to the Pleiades. Okay. Vortex, stargate. They have different names. They have different openings. So there's different ways. So everyone works in a different way. I work with vortexes, dimensions, frequency. Frequency has a lot to do with everything. But when as we're talking for shadow work, is like, this is Uluru. She rewoke when it rained on her, and there was a lot of darkness on her because everyone walked on her. Uluru is a very special ancient energy field, but they also have a base near there where they time warp and do things to that part where near Uluru. So this is very ancient as well, and it has vortexes tuned. Folks, I draw actually a lot of tuning for vibrations and numbers. Numbers are very important as well. So a lot of my drawing have numbers. The sea creatures are very important as well. They play a very big role into especially the salamanders and all that. And there's so many creatures that we don't even have names for that are in the sea. And a lot of spaceships actually still come through vortexes. And the moment they're hovering a lot above the earth because so much is going on, and they want to make sure that certain energies don't go off. Like this is a beautiful frequency energy. Your third eye being wide open with energy. So there's so much, and this is very sharmic. Karma release, which is, and it's got vortexes again, and you can go around the pity train, or you can actually clear your karma. It's your choice. These are all the retrogrades we're having in a moment. That's what it feels like in some people's. They don't affect me very much, retrogrades. I just change my energy, but it does affect a lot of electrical things, like. Okay, so now back to the shadow work. Right. So what are we going to do? We're going to go to the archetype, all right? So these are the round cards. I'm going to pull 3, and we're going to do a reading on the earth energy. What is the shadow, the archetype that humanity actually needs to learn on this frequency that they're sending out, basically, okay? And the other thing is, are you ready to give up your fear? That's a really important question. Are you ready to give up fear? Okay. And then we're going to talk about a really deep subject to my heart after this. All right. So we're going to pull. I got another new deck today, and guess what it was? It was Tarot Original 1909. I bought the round. How amazing is that? It's actually like that. It's quite good. Just like this one's round. I've got a few round decks. All right, the archetypes we're working with is, well, it's a tear, okay? The tear. So it's sadness. It's allowing the tears to flow. Many people over the last couple of years have not had a good cry. They just can't believe that's going on. And then we got the stone, okay? See, it's got a pyramid around it. So basically, how hard are we feeling inside? And then we got the eternal child. So this is a lot of inner child work that needs to be done, okay? The eternal child, our children matter. I think next time I'm going to do really good readings on our teenagers, our children, and where they're basically at. I'm only going to pull three of these cards, okay? So because I'm showing all how to work with the shadows here, okay? I want to explain it. So the cards I have pulled at the moment is, as I'm going to add to them is, I'm going to add the dark mirror, right? What are we not seeing out of fear? Okay, let's just ask that question like that. So you can ask different kind of question. If I work on myself, I want to know what I need clearing, what I need to work on, and kind of stuff. So this is a collective, reading for everyone on earth. What do they need to know to work on in this moment for the next month? All right. So we have our first card, and it's parasites. All right, I'll go into that card. It's like overload, parasites, feeling like there's things in you, and then we have a beautiful card of which is called the Queen of My World. Okay, so we got a habit of, like, when it comes to royalty, we put them on a pedestal when they're not, and an artificial heart. What that actually means is you're not feeling your true selves. Okay, there's many of you out there in a moment that are feeling like that, right? Which is quite interesting. And then the next one is fragmentation. So that's the card there, which means basically is how we pull ourselves back together. How do we rebalance ourselves? How did we get to this artificial heart? How did we squish women down so they have no meaning and things like that? And then the temple of my body, self-love. So a lot of people do not have that self-worth or self-love, which is quite important. And this comes with a beautiful book. So if you buy a book, like, you can go into the book, like if I go into 19, right, parasites. So what's your, it has a moon face on it. So this is, like, if you can see that, right? So if you're learning the book, okay. I don't usually read because I usually tune into what's going on. So the visual seed along in the sense, what can't survive alone will seek company, but instead of growing together, they will wither together, going dark. So basically, it's showing you relationships are not zero-sum game, of course. Using each other is a part of the game. So this is about parasites, whether they're in your body or they're other human being using you for who you are. And we see that all over the world. When you see all these big things going on, and they belittle because they think they own everything, that they can belittle the people below them. But a soul is a soul, and a soul has a journey. Is no one's better. Just remember, at the end of the day, when someone dies, they die alone in the casket. They get buried alone. They don't die alone. That's not how meant it is. But they can't take all that wealth with them, if you know what I mean. Is so basically is they're here, and then they hoard all this wealth, and there's so much starvation in the world. What was it really for? Why did they have to act like that? So there's a lot of questions like that coming out, okay? So in a moment is, but the most important thing to me is the temple is your body. Be aware what you put in your body. Love your body for what it is. It is the most, everyone's unique, no matter how they look, how they are. It is your body, and take charge of it. Look after it. So in this shadow, so I use the dreamscape cards to basically go with these cards to get the next part. Okay, so what does, with the cards that are laying out for the souls in this world who are struggling, whose heart been taught to be basically with no emotions, who are trying to put their fragmentation back together, who we allowed all this what's happening over the years because we didn't see enough. We we always thought she'll be okay, but now there comes the tears, and then the inner child work. A lot of hearts are like stone, and that's what this one says as well. So how do we work with it to change those emotions? Because everything's an emotion and a frequency as how we look at it. So how do we change those emotions? Okay, so we have a beautiful doorway here, okay, and the hand and the keys. If you search deep in your heart, you have the keys to unchain yourself from anything that you're chained to, but you need to do the work. You need to learn that corruption is not okay, right? It's all about timing here, right? And because we have a queen here, I also feel that there's someone passing over with it, and it's about timing. Okay, there's a time there. But we as feminines need to take our goddess energy back, and we have to make sure that the male energy gets rebalanced, okay, as well. Nudity, love your body for what it is. So this comes with the artificial heart. And look how beautiful this is once you take your power back and you let go of the artificial heart and you trust and surrender to who you are. What a beautiful journey. And then strangers. So at fragmentation, there'll be a lot of strangers coming forward, helping us to rebuild our society. So as you know, there's a lot of food shortages being, like I see, not so much here in Australia, but in America, where the mums couldn't buy mother's milk. And I mean, what kind of cruelty is that? What kind of mentality would actually do that to another human being, and then not unload the warehouses, knowing there's no, and I'll do a reading on it later and show you that there's no shortage on it, that they're holding it back, okay? What kind of inhumane person would actually do that? They are inhumane, okay? And the sweets, so the temple of the body is so watch what you put in your body, what preservatives, what food, what's good for you, what's not good for you. So look after your body as well. It is really, really important that, as we know, so many foods have not very nice things in them. So that's how I read some of the shadow work, and that's part of the healing on earth. Is we must take our power back and we must stand strong. There's more of us than them. Always remember that. And that scares them, so they make fear, turn everything into fear. Do you know what I mean? And we don't actually have anything to fear, because we're unique. We're oneness with God. We are loved. God wouldn't have put us here if we couldn't evolve. Do you know what I mean? But it takes everyone to evolve in their own way. Obviously, everyone can do it in their own way. But we need to own it. We need to really do our shadow work with it. So it's quite interesting. So, well, anyway, so now we go to these archetypes, how these work. So basically these are by Chuck Spazzano, PhD. So if you want, I bought this quite a long time ago, so you have to Google it if they're still available. I'm not quite sure, okay? But they're quite incredible, okay? So what these do, so they have a yellow and a purple. So you separate the purple ones and the black one. So the purple ones are your shadow. So let's go and do, so you pull one of the purple ones, a shadow card, okay? So let's do, what is the shadow work in Australia in a moment? Let's pull a card, all right? Leecher. So have a look at that. they're leeching everything out of every human being. All right. So then, to use these cards, you pick 2 of the yellow ones. They show you look how bound this card is. Look how that person is actually bound. And it's like, if, do you know what that card reminds me of? Do you know when we do our work and we're stepping into the light, and then all of a sudden we look at things, and then all of a sudden, because you're doing better than someone else, they're trying to leech everything off you, kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? So what will heal that? Okay. So I'm pulling a card. See that? So it's called the Megas, right? And see the beautiful dragon up there. All right. And then the Optimist, right? So basically we have to take our optimism back, our power, our magic. We got to stop taking other people for granted, basically. And with the Megas is like, you know, stand in your power. If it's not right, it's not right. It's the system is getting leached. It needs to change. So that's how you read these cards, right? And we have to be optimistic about everything to change that energy. Okay, so that's how you read the archetype cards, which is quite interesting, right? It also has a beautiful book with it. So if you want to go deeper into, I'm just doing a quick one, and if you go into it, it has, like, I go into the cards I pulled, right, basically. So I say the Megas, right, is receiving this card. If you already have or are about to embrace the level of power and passion. So basically is with all your heart. So we are ready here in Australia to really embrace the passion of changing how this country is run. And that's what the energy is. So one day I will do the energies around the world, but today I'm just doing a quick show on how archetypes and shadow work. Now with the Carola Miss, so everyone designs different kind of cards. Okay, so hers is got writing on top and the bottom. Okay, so let's go. Let's do a question on the country that starts with a U. Okay, what is going on there as an archetype kind of reasoning card? So the shadow attributes, imposing your own training over those you claim to liberate, ignoring legitimate constraints. So, and for the light to come back, freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs, releasing negative thought patterns. So there's a liberator there, okay? So basically is on the shadow, it's imposing not nice things like tyranny and stuff like that, and ignoring and telling basically crap of what's really going on. It's a negative. So the next one is the hero and the hero. So who's the hero in this and who isn't, basically, is the shadow escaping and the false sense of heroism, right? And to put the light back on the passion for a journey, personal empowerment. So and that's what they've done over there. So is it's false heroes, basically. Okay, and the last card I call is the shadow it troops. So this isn't, it's addict, right? Compromise integrity and honesty allows an addictive pattern to have authority over your inner spirit. So this has been going on all around the world, basically. So the light helps you to recognize and confront addictive behavior, right? It doesn't matter how rich, how poor, there's addictive behavior into ruling things, right? I'll do one more. Beggar. This is really sad, actually. I'll do one more card after that, right? So basically, the beggar, the dependence on others to exclusion and efforts. So basically, they trying to show you that the country is given lots of money, but is it actually going to the people that need the food, right? That is a big question. Where's it going to? Okay, basically. And the light confronts empowerment at a level of physical survival, awakening spiritual authority, humility, compassion, and self-esteem. So this is a really big wake-up call card as well, on basically where that country has to go, right? That can see the truth for what it is. And the last card is a mentor. So you always see that coming in, right? So the shadow inability to allow the student to move on to a role of master imparting false instruction. So basically there's a lot of falseness going on there and false instruction given to a lot of different people. And then to work towards the light of the mentor is passing on wisdom and refining a student and character. So it has to flip basically, but it's not flipping in a moment because of what's going on there and whatever the purpose of that service is. So that is like a shadow reading to me. So, and you can do that with countries, you can do that with yourself, you can work on yourself, and it's a beautiful journey to do actually, with the tarot cards. So let's open them. I've got other cards that work like this, but I'm not going to pull them all out because there's just too many. So we're going to do get the dark ones out and get the light ones out. Okay, let's do how far is the dark cold removed from everything that's going on? What's the journey there for, like in this shadow card? Where's the balance going to come back? So I'm reading the dark one. So I've got One of Wands. That's yes. When is the balance going to come back? It is. But we'll do other. This is a dark cold card because it's a devil card. Okay. So because we're doing the shadow of this all. Right. And then we've got the Five of Wands. All right. Then we have the Ten of Cups. And the last one is the Six of Wands. Okay. Now we're going to ask the light cards where we at with doing all this. All right. Where are we at clearing all this mess up? Becoming better human beings with all this darkness that's going on. And removing all the these people. Okay. So there's a new journey coming because it's with the Ace of Wands in the darker spread, right? So there's a new journey, the Fool. And then we have a King. So this is someone stepping forward. Then we have the Knight, the Serpents. So there's more energy stepping forwards. That goes on top of the Five of Wands. Okay. Then we have the Serpents. So here we go. And we have the Swords. And it's a Five of Swords, right? So in this reading, so the Serpent is like the pentacle of things. Just in case you wonder what a serpent is, right? So we have the Wands, and the Wands card's always a yes card, right? And the new journey starts us off like a Fool, which is quite interesting. Okay, so it's quite interesting. So that's where we're going on. We had the Dark Cold, right? But the king or someone who's higher up is coming along. Okay, then the Pentacles about money, right? We had the Five of Wands, so that's an ending, right? And we have two more five, which are small endings because they're not major arcana cards. They're just small cards. So there's a lot ending now. So the cups got filled, but it's finishing, okay? The energy they're called in is finishing with the Wands, okay? It's basically, there's an ending, okay? Then I can put is how far is the ending before we can move forward, right? Because we already got the Fool, so we know we're moving forward. So we've got the High Priestess, as help. So that's a very feminine card, okay? And it has the key. And then we've got the Magician, so there's a bit of trickery going on, but as we're moving forward, we need some magic in our life as well. And the Knight of Swords, it's like military. And then we got the cosmic mirror, right? So this is a very karmic experience with the cosmic mirror, right? We can't redo it. We can't remirror it. It's quite interesting. So, so this is all a big karmic lesson. So, because it's cosmic, so it's quite interesting. So these are really beautiful cards to actually buy, and because they're tarot cards as well. I do love tarot cards. If you only saw how many cards I had here, I could open a shop. Yes, it's that bad. I guess we all have our love for something. Mine's a love for cards. So it's quite interesting. So that's what these cards are good for, okay? So that was a lesson on that. Now, we're going to go into some questions now. So I've got some questions written out. So I might go a bit longer than an hour, so bear with me. So we're going to have a lot of shadow. So I've done that, the shadow work questions. Yep. All right. Will the history of the lies be exposed? Okay. So I'm going to first off use the Wizard Tarot by they got beautiful dragons on the back. Very beautiful card. So we're going on this. I've got a really deep question, but I'll ask it in a minute, okay? So will the history that has been so lied about be exposed as it is on some of the Pleiadean things? So, all right. There's a lot of hidden history here. They're trying to hide it and run away with it, okay? That's the Seven of Swords. The Fool, they think we're stupid. I've got the Fool here. That we won't notice, okay? But the more we look at humans, the more they're actually noticing. The Eight of Pentacles. So they work very hard in hiding things. But this is also a money card, is the Three of Cups. It will be revealed in time. There will be a celebration. With this thinking man is how they're going to do it, how they're going to share the knowledge. As a Four of Cups, how they're going to fill that cup up so it's understandable. How can you actually bring that forward when everyone's belief system is different? Because it will do this to humanity. It will do a lot of things unbelievable, like it'll shake them to the core, basically, hang them upside down. The Nine of Wands, the news will come in pretty fast. Okay, some will understand it and some won't. Then we have the King of Cups. Pretty cool, eh? Power to the people, baby. And we have the beautiful sun. And this, it's all going to fall in place. They do it at the right time and only give so much information. But humanity, see how the Queen has her power back? I'm not talking about the monarchy or anything. I'm talking about the feminine energy, how it's starting to shift. Yes, they did a lot to the feminine energy. I won't go there today. All right, we'll just answer these questions. Okay, so I have a question here. So here in Australia, we have a thing called APRA, right? I want to know if they'll be held accountable for what's actually going on in Australia. I can't talk too much about it because I just want the answer. Okay, so this is justice. And Three of Pentacles. So I believe so. All right, that's that one answered. Cool. Now, I've been asked this many, many times. Election. Did we have an honest election in Australia, the federal election? So I believe so there's a hangman. Okay, I'm just laying out the cards and I explain them. There's something coming very fast. Because see how that's tied up and it's got chains on it, so something isn't right. There were two parties that they only chose. The Queen of Cups, there was actually someone who got a lot of votes that didn't go to her for some reason. The celebration was very early. What's coming out will turn everything upside down and it's going to come out very soon, okay? It's not that far away. It's been worked on. Then someone is sinking in the water. The Magician's here, so there was trickery. Interesting. And there's the Queen taking some power back, some feminine energy. Yes, there's a lot of work that's going to get done behind the scenes. Okay. Well, something wasn't right anyway. It was this, okay. So I won't do certain words because, you know what they're like. All right. Got that. All right. I'm going to try these ones now because I haven't used these, so I'm going to use the round ones. All right. So can we unspell the spell on humanity? Can we? They're a bit hard to shovel, you know, so round cuts are always hard to shovel, and I'm a pretty good shoveler. Okay. Can we unspell the spell on humanity? Oh, we've got the Chariot. Yes, we can. You can rebalance everything. So we got the Cup riding on his lovely horse. And we got, so because that's, to me, that needs balance, okay, because black and white, all right, and he's riding in with his Cup. And then we have 9 of Cups. So there's change, and this is a change, okay. So can we undo that? Yes, it's coming. Frequency change is coming. So because they're so hard to shovel, I'll go back to these ones. Now I want to know, is there another civilization behind Antarctica? A whole built city. So I heard a story that someone long ago sailed their ship, went in there, got married, lived there happily, and I think the story goes that his wife passed. There's a guy called Inspired, he was talking about it. So I'm asking the question is, because I know there's no fly zone over there, and it's sort of a taboo subject. So behind that beautiful snow, in the middle of nowhere, where there's poles, is there another civilization that are from star beings and humanity mixing? Let's see what we get. Oh, we got a mirroring card, the 4. So there's a porthole. Yes, they live different. They live in a really positive energy, and you do have to go through basically a porthole to get in there, okay? That will not allow darkness to go in there. And it's like the Wheel of Fortune, so it's a beautiful, beautiful place. So the answer to that one is yes. Awesome. Now I'll keep getting asked if our Earth is flat. Is it a big arc floating? What's the story with the Earth? So let's go. Is the Earth floating like an arc with a shield over it? Celebrations, the King. They don't want to tell me the answer. I've got the 4 here. It's hidden information. It'd be too stressful if people knew. The 6 of Swords, the King. So we've got the King in the water here. Okay. The 6 of Swords. The information has been withheld. It was set in an order so the information would be withheld, and it's like they did that long ago with a deal. Okay. Interesting. So I'm going to ask the question in a different way. So we know that there's life on other planets like the Moon, Neptune, Mars, Venus, through the star beings. There's enough shows on YouTube that tell you that. Like on Alex, on his side, there's a lady, Elena, she does a lot of, so there's quite a lot of YouTubers that give you information on different things and starships. So, and it's quite interesting to watch. So bless their hearts. Is the planet Earth bigger than that letting us know? 3 of Wands. The Queen of Cups again. If we knew, look at this tower. It might upset some people if they knew, okay? But the answer is yes to that because I got the yes card. But so our planet is a lot bigger than we think it is. Quite interesting. So yeah. Okay. So I want to talk about the stolen symbols from the Illuminati, because they're stealing them basically from the Pleiadians obviously have their symbols. They have their light language. The universal light language is there, but the dark occult has, and businesses have, for some reason, put these symbols on their food, on, like you see them everywhere basically. I just want to assure you, just because they do that doesn't mean that the symbols are dark. It's just sometimes people use them for their own advantage. So if you use it from the light, it will be light, okay? But they do steal a lot of symbolism. But if we did that with a business, we'd be charged, but they're not. So so my question is, the symbolism, can we, even in Egypt, they have stolen so much symbolism, like the triangle, the eye, the all-seeing eye, can we still use it for the light? How's that sound? So even the pentacle was to be used in the light, and it got taken. So don't think it's just a dark symbol. It's not. All right. There's an ending coming for them using all this symbolism, because they're getting tied up. If you have a look at this card, okay. And then we got the 8 of Cups, so they're packing their bags basically in this card. They're on the outer basically, okay. See, this is the High Prince. So someone actually taught them all the symbolism from a child onwards. So they're basically brainwashed or whatever they did it, right? Because as you can see, there's a lot of symbolism behind there. And justice. So this is a justice that's coming, okay? How nice. So there is a balance coming. And yes, you can use the symbols for good. So don't think you can't. Just because someone, I still believe a lot of people didn't even know that they did that with the symbols. I think there's this, oh yeah, we'll take that symbol, why not? And there's the people that knew. So there's 2 kinds of people. So yeah. is your I want to. So there's a beautiful lady. She does this show because she works with the Pleiadean as well, and she was talking about the Red Bull symbol got stolen from the Pleiades. So that's quite sad, and it got put on the Red Bull, and it had wings behind the Red Bull. So basically, that drink can kill you if you have too much. So just saying. So I'm going a bit over time here. So so we're going to go into symbolism, into basically the pyramids, okay? So in the coal is there any messages from the Egyptian frequencies and symbols that our soul needs to know? What is aligning, basically? What frequencies are aligning? Let's ask it like that. Ooh, portholes again, mirror images. There's something aligning the vortexes, and this is the 10 of Wands, and there's a light bulb moment going off in his head, right? So there'd be relit some. So when it is time with a page, see he's got the fire there, the Page of Wands. When it is time, there'd be a big shift, and it has to be a big shift in the feminine as well. And I don't think it's too far away, right? We have the Three of Swords here, all the old ways, see all the paperwork flying around. It means nothing anymore. And the Nine of Swords, because it was such mental anguish. So there's going to be a lot of people that can't comprehend that they're, so the frequency is going to change very. They always say about 5D, but when we talk about frequency, this is a very spiritual frequency. So we're tuning basically, going back into that frequency, and it's quite surprising, and it's beautiful. And then we have the Two of Cups, and it's a very, very balanced frequency for humanity. I find that very beautiful. So the old frequencies going. We know there's a beautiful person behind it. We don't need to say who. And yes, that's a yes card. That everything is slowly realigning. Wow. And here's the strength. We all need beautiful strength card. How lovely is that? So it's funny is because I've been feeling this energy shift for weeks and weeks now. And today was the only first day I felt a little bit flat because I've been doing so much running around. But I know the frequency is changing so quick, and I feel it, and I know that everything is crumbling and falling apart because my cards keep telling me, and my gut keeps telling me, and there's light bulb moments. I love this card when this comes out. There's light bulb moments going on. How awesome is that, you know? So as human beings, we are in such a beautiful energy, really. We're experiencing something that's so beautiful, you know. And I believe that going with the flow with it is the most important thing. Is this my message is always step out of the fear. If you got healing to do some of it. You don't have to do it all at once. Do one step at a time. If you have a bit of anxiety, you know, conquer it with one step at a time. Ask for help. We need to come together as human beings again. We need to learn that there's more than this world, that there's other places, that there are vortexes out there, that there are dimensions out there, that the star beings are here to help us if we ask. That our higher self is here to ask, that you're guided, that you should meditate and do beautiful things, So, yes. So I just think, good morning. It's a beautiful journey. It's actually nighttime here. But I've talked about so much today, and I really hope it made sense, and I hope it taught you something about your how to work with the shadow selves. If you got any questions, just send them to me. I'm also on Facebook. You can send them over there. If you send me a friend's request and I don't know who you are, sometimes I don't go in my friend's request for months. Please, I apologise. But you can send me in Messenger something if you really want to. I sometimes get really weird friends requests from people. I don't know. I'm a bit cautious because I don't want to get, that they hack into everything unnecessary sometimes. So, but from my heart to your heart, I really do hope you enjoyed this part of learning something about your shadow self, and that our world is bigger than it has been shown, that we can get through this if we really want to, and if you're struggling, ask for help, and just be unique and be a beautiful human being. That's all we ask. And, with all that said, is I finally did the other thing is I finally put my angels up, and my friend that passed away, I finally see that. I finally did that. So they're my drawings. As you can see, this is a bit of my house if you want to have a look. So I do have beautiful gong over there as well, but this is where I always do my readings. It's very sacred. It has very beautiful crystals and energies here. I do have even crystals, like I got sprays when I think the energy needs clearing. I got sage there. I'll do that quite often. I work with Metatron vortex energy. I love working with Archangel Michael and stuff like that. So basically, well, from my heart to your heart, I think it's time I stop babbling on. I hope you have a beautiful evening. Please do like, share and subscribe so this channel can grow, and share it as much as you like. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Love, lots of love to you. So you have a lovely afternoon, morning, whatever time it is around the world. Here it's night time. So from me, bye-bye.